Segue. Appalachian Liturgy Top 5 Debate. To our top five. So, Timothy, thank you for giving us the topic for our top five this week. We are doing the top five MCU movies. And you get to go first, sir, as starting with five, going in descending order, please.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to give my whole list.
Mm-hmm.
From five down.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Okay,
start
let me
at
see.
five and work your way down.
Yep.
Okay. I have to think backwards now, and I expect that we'll probably have a bigger discussion about this part than we did about everything else.
That's what I was about to say. I think if we thought we had an argument before, we're about to have one right now.
So I'm trying to think. Let's see. I've got to think them forward so I can think them backward. Let's see. So okay, that's number. I should have written this down. Number one, number two, number three, Okay, so number five is Doctor Strange.
Okay, I disagree totally with that, but
yeah.
Let him get it out. Let him get his whole list out.
Do we fight about them in order? Do we fight about them one at a time, or fight about them as a group?
Maybe.
We've done both.
We've done both.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that I don't approve of that one.
Okay. Well, I doubt you may not approve of any of them. I think my list may be a little idiosyncratic.
Okay.
So number five is Doctor Strange. Number four, the first Iron Man, the first Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Number three is Captain America, the first Captain America movie. Number two, Thor Ragnarok. And number one, without any question whatsoever, Black Panther.
Okay.
Can't argue with that.
I like most of those.
You like them most.
Most of those.
I think Black Panther is undoubtedly the best of all of the Marvel movies.
Well, that's wrong, but
I would disagree.
Well, you have a right to be wrong. I mean, that's.
Hey, that is my freedom as an American.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm talking, so I'm going to go next. All right. My number five is I gave it to Iron Man. I actually went back and forth on this one. I was going to put Captain America, the first Avenger, and then I took it off. It's definitely an honorable mention. But Iron Man, just because it started the MCU, and it's so hard to not put Iron Man on a list when it started the MCU. So that's my number five. My number four is Black Panther because it is in my top five, and I did really like it. It's just not my favorite. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love it.
My number three is the first Avengers movie. Yeah, the first Avengers movie. I think, honestly, I think that's my favorite Avengers movie. Just looking back, it's the first time we got to see all of the powers combined, and it was such a new experience. And I'm so fond of that, and I watched it multiple times. Whereas Infinity War and Endgame, which I think is most people's favorite Avengers movie, I've only watched it one time, and I have no desire to watch it again. So that's the reason why Avengers got it for me. My number two is Captain America Winter Soldier. It's my favorite Captain America movie. And then my number one, of course, and this should be obvious, this should be everybody's number one. And if it's not, then you hate this movie. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, I have to do a mea culpa about leaving Guardians off altogether. I frankly forget Guardians of the Galaxy is part of the MCU. It's just so unique and such a different experience that I have a hard time remembering it's part of the MCU.
Well, I'm sorry, Tim, but according to Justin's calculations, you hate the movie because you didn't make the number one of all time. I just want you to know that.
Yeah,
that's the way it works.
I'll just tack it onto my. That'll be just another thing they take care of for me in purgatory.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. That's great.
I'm going to go.
By the minute, by the way.
I've already had a sneak peek at Bowling's list, so I'm going to go next.
Okay.
So, and just so you know, I told Abby that we were doing this, and she didn't agree with my list, but she said she could respect it. And I'm kind of glad Abby's not on this because we would never be done with this conversation.
I think when you say respect, it's just a kind way of saying your list is terrible.
No, she means she could see where I got that from, and it was she would have told me if I was totally off base.
Okay,
let's just say that. So I had 2 honorable mentions. Avengers Endgame, just because it tied it all up, and it just kind of put the cherry on top. It was so anticipated. I think. And my other honorable mention was Guardians of the Galaxy, just because it's just fun movies to watch. They're just fun. So 5 was Marvel Avengers, was for me. 4 was Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. 3 was Iron Man. And 2 was Black Panther. And 1 was Captain America First Avengers, just because I absolutely, if I wasn't married to Aaron, I'd want to be married to Captain America. So.
Wow. Okay.
I think we all would.
This is the biggest fight I think we've had, because there's not a lot of ones that match everybody's list here. Yeah.
And your list is terrible. I'm just going to tell you
that was not my real list.
That wasn't his real list. That was a fake list.
I was trying to make the worst list I could, and that was what I came up with.
I told Ed, he was like,
That would have been great. That would have been great.
I had like a Dark World. What else? I had like the worst ones on there.
I was like, we can't be friends.
No. No, I did have 2 honorable mentions too. Mine were Endgame and Black Panther. I love watching those movies, but I couldn't put them in the top 5, but I had to at least mention that I really like those movies. But for 5, I started off with Guardians. It's a fun movie. Yeah, it's hard to beat. Number 4 was Iron Man. Same reason Justin said. It started off the series right. If anybody is going to watch the series that's not a superhero person, Iron Man is a great intro to those people. I don't think I could have got Sarah into the Marvel movies as much as she got into them if it wasn't for the intro that Iron Man was. 3, I went for Infinity War. I like it better than Endgame. I think it's a better movie overall than Endgame. And the first introduction of a lot of characters together in Infinity War is great. Like Spider-Man and Guardians meeting is one of my favorite moments in the whole series. Number 2, I'm with Tim here. Ragnarok, Thor 2 is probably one of my favorite, I have to watch this movie, Marvel movies of all of them. But number 1 overall is Winter Soldier, my favorite one.
I like it. I like that movie a lot. It was going to be my number 1, and I don't know, something about Guardians. I think it's because I had zero expectation. I knew nothing about Guardians when I went in to watch it, and it was amazing. It's
a fun movie.
It is.
But the odd thing is, like I said, my non-superhero loving wife cannot stand Guardians. That's like her least favorite movie of all of them.
Really?
I think you have to have a certain mindset going into it to actually like it.
I am Groot.
Yeah, and you could see my photo back here.
Groot Pate.
So
Iron Man Pate.
my wife's favorite Marvel movie and character is Iron Man. So that's the reason why we did my Yorkie is Iron Man. Yeah.
I kind of wish I'd spent some time on Wikipedia before I came with my list. I just did it by memory. But I forgot about Homecoming. I forgot about Guardians.
I really like Homecoming too. That's one of
you know
my
what?
favorites.
I like Homecoming, but I think I like Far From Home better than Homecoming. And I think I'm going to watch
Far From Home I like better. I got them confused actually.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to like Spider-Man 3 better than the other 2. Like just knowing what I know about it now. So
I think maybe Marvel movies might be better as a top 10 instead of a top 5 spots. Is not enough.
It's hard. Yeah.
I think we could do a bottom 5.
Limiting it top thing.
We can do a bottom 5 and it'd be hard. Or it might not be hard, but it'd probably be all the same movies.
I think I had the list earlier.
You did.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Dark World.
Yeah,
it's got to be a those three.
I like the first Ant-Man. Ultron, yeah, wasn't that good?
Yeah.
Civil War. I would put Civil War on there. I'm not a big fan of that.
No, Civil War is one of my favorite first watch throughs, but I didn't like it. Like it's not a rewatch one.
Well, especially the follow-up to Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is such a great movie.
It is a good movie.
So, WandaVision, it was just released, the first 2 episodes, and it is crazy out there.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't
It's
either.
I like it. I like it a lot. But it's nothing like what you've seen in Marvel. Just it's more Twilight Zone.
From everything I've heard, it says like the first like 10, 15 minutes or whatever is like weirdness, and then the rest of it's like a 1970s sitcom, and that's kind
Well,
of
so each episode goes through a generation. So the first one was like the 50s, the second one's like the 60s, and then the next one's gonna be like the 70s. So it goes through generations really quickly. So yeah, it's out there.
Yeah, I haven't. If it wasn't British, I haven't been sucked down in the last couple of days. I've been finishing up The Crown and Bridgerton, and so
That's good
now
stuff.
I've got to switch to. So now I need to do WandaVision. So
All right,
Let me make a recommendation for if you want a really quirky TV show. It's on Apple TV Plus if you have that service. Dickinson, the second season just dropped of that show. I am just absolutely smitten with that show. It's a sitcom based on the life of Emily Dickinson, and it's as weird as that sounds.
me and Sarah have been watching Apple TV as well, but Ted Lasso is a really funny sitcom if you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I hear everyone I talk to says you got to check out Ted
It
Lasso.
is really good.
all right.
all right, so how do we do our top 5?
I'm thinking Winter Soldier is absolutely on the top 5. Any
Of course you do.
objections to that?
No,
Okay.
I love Rourke in that movie. He does such an amazing job.
He does.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know what else that we had in common here.
Iron Man was almost on all.
Iron Man, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
What
Black
about
Panther?
Black Panther?
Yep.
What were some of the overlaps?
Captain America was, I think, did everyone have Captain America
I
on their
did.
list?
I didn't.
Well,
Not the first one.
you had Winter Soldier. That's what it was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then Guardians, I was on my list. And
Guardians
Bowling's
was on
list,
most
right?
of it. I was on it was on my list,
would
your
be
list, and
supportive
Brick's
of that.
honorable mention.
I would
So
be supportive of Guardians in the top 5, definitely.
Guardians.
And one of the, and I think either of the Spider-Man movies rightfully deserves a place in the top 5, in my opinion.
So I think was Spider-Man. You said Homecoming, but you meant Far From Home, right?
I meant Far From Home.
Sure. I meant Far From Home.
Is that what you meant too? Or
Probably, yeah.
it's the second one, the last one that came out.
Yes.
Okay,
Is Far
so
From Home the one that's in Paris?
yeah,
Yeah. That was a good movie. That was a really.
It was a good movie.
yeah. Okay, then we've got Winter Soldier, Iron Man, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Wait a minute, you got it, because Abby's going to ask me here in a minute.
Okay.
Winter Soldier.
Uh-huh.
What is the next one?
Iron Man,
Iron Man.
Okay.
Black Panther,
Okay.
Guardians,
Okay.
and Spider-Man: Far From Home.
No
Got it.
Infinity War in-game is pretty controversial.
It is.
It's
We
pretty
might get
controversial.
some. If anybody actually watched or listened to this stuff, we would get a lot of hate for this.
Here is my complete. I will confess my unpopular opinion. I think all of the Avengers movies are terrible.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Yeah. See.
I think
Yeah.
Infinity War is a very good movie. I can agree with Endgame. Endgame was a lot of fan service.
It
and I
was.
like the fan service. I will not lie. It was very fun. But I think Infinity War itself is a very good movie.
I just think for me, it's maybe after 12 years of these things, I am just like so like over the bombast of it all.
That's
And
fair.
I've appreciated some of the smaller movies that were less about the spectacle and more about sort of the relationships. Like for example, Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home, the relationship between Peter Parker and Robert Downey Jr. What's the
Yep.
Tony Stark?
Yep.
That relationship I just think is so fun to watch develop.
I agree.
I wonder how much that comes into play too, because I watched them all like binge watching them. Like Far From Homecoming or whatever the second one is, Far From Home was out by the time I started watching any Marvel movie, and we just watched them all like one a night type thing, like after the other.
Oh wow.
So I don't know how much that came into it.
Yeah. I do like a movie with a good
Yeah, but
story.
there's something.
Go ahead, Brooke.
There's something though about the scene where Captain America says Avengers Assemble and
Yes.
everybody's there.
Yeah.
Bone chilling.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody was waiting
Yeah.
on it. That is fan service too, because that's in the comics, and everybody was waiting on him
Right.
to say that. Good stuff. Marvel
It
movies
was a
are
moment.
great. Yeah, it was a moment. Okay, good
I'm
stuff.
anxious to see what phase 2 looks like. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, the next phase is going to be interesting. I think they're going to do it. I mean, X-Men supposed to be introduced in the next phase, so I think.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you know, 2 Marvel movies that did not like get any mention at all, and maybe they shouldn't, but I find them to be like a guilty pleasure. Both Deadpool movies. I mean, they're
Are
just
they MCU or not? I don't know.
like,
what
well,
counts as
they're
MCU.
not really MCU,
Not
but
technically, but
They
Ryan
haven't
Reynolds
done
is coming back.
Ryan Reynolds is great.
Yeah.
though, in those movies.
I just
So
love
Abby
them.
watched them
Make fun
and
of
told
it.
me I shouldn't watch them, that I wouldn't like them.
Oh, they're hilarious.
They are hilarious. They're
I
not
just
your
think she-
typical superhero movies, though.
I think she's embarrassed that I might watch them. I don't know.
It
You
is
know.
pure
Teenage
rated R.
girl,
I mean,
uncomfortable
Yeah,
with her
they're
mom
very
watching something
crude.
crude. So
I think that's it.
Yeah.
uh,
They're definitely not like for sitting around with the family. That's for sure.
yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
We're really glad that you tuned in to this episode's Top 5, but we hope that you'll think about watching the full episode. We have a lively and fruitful discussion. Also, remember, if you enjoy our content, please think about supporting us by subscribing to our channel, giving us a like, sharing our videos, and maybe commenting. Thanks, everyone.